Hi, welcome to the Vedic Astrology New Moon Forecast for March 6, 2019. So the moon is waning. Light is diminishing. How are you feeling? The moon is going to get smaller and smaller until it reaches its complete conjunction with the sun and disappears on March 6, 2019 at 8:04 a.m. Pacific time. The moon will begin to wax again. This is an important new moon in India, and I'm here in India right now, at the moment in Oroville, in a really beautiful place, in front of a banyan tree. I love these trees. See their branches grow into the ground. Beautiful place. So this new moon is special in India because it's marking an important holiday. Actually, it's the dark moon will be the Mahashivaratri, just 2 nights before the new moon. Shivaratri translates basically as the night of Shiva. Shiva, Lord Shiva, is one of the Trinity: Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, and Shiva, the destroyer. So Mahashivaratri is going to be on March 4th, the evening of March 4th. So the moon will be very dark. And on this night, it's said that the power of Shiva is very close to us, very strong. And Shiva being an energy of liberation that can destroy the bondages of karma or maybe bad habits or things that you want to change about yourself, this energy is very good for it. He is the liberator. And it's said that saying his name, Om Namah Shivaya, fasting and singing, chanting, making offerings and things like this on this night is very auspicious. In fact, it's great to stay up all night and see that dark sliver of a moon rise very, very early in the morning, probably around 4:30 or 5 o'clock a.m. You could see it rising. It's this moon that he wears in his matted hair, the Shiva moon. So the nakshatra that this new moon is beginning in, this lunar cycle, is called Porvoo Bhadrapada. Porvoo Bhadrapada. Now, Porvoo Bhadrapada is the lunar mansion, the section of the sky in Vedic astrology that is associated with endings and exits. It's in one of the last stars in Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. So this is a very highly spiritual star. Obviously, Porvoo Bhadrapada is one of two, a pair, Porvoo Bhadrapada and Uttara Bhadrapada. And they're found in the great square of Pegasus. And they symbolize a coffin or a stretcher that takes a body to the cremation grounds. So there is something about being carried onward to another realm. And Porvoo Bhadrapada is a portal where we release the body or the attachments of this world. It's also called Porvoo Bhadrapada, one of the fiery pair, the scorching stars, maybe connected to this fiery power of life to burn away our attachments. And in the end, even the cremation fire, the heat of this, what we release and surrender to. Porvoo Bhadrapada is ruled by a deity that's very ancient, a Naga snake called Aja Ekapada. He's a snake of fire, sometimes said as well. Lord Shiva, in his dance of destruction, is also very connected to this energy, right, of surrender, of change, of spiritual transformation, and allowing for the new to come in, that Porvoo and Uttara Bhadrapada both are about. Porvoo Bhadrapada, though, has a stronger kind of fire, that it's actually given the Shakti or the power of the fire that can elevate consciousness. So there is something about sitting and really feeling into life and into the changes that are always happening around us, and allowing for that true consciousness and acceptance to come in. The planet Mercury is also going through some pretty powerful introspection and sort of review as well. We have Mercury stationing retrograde just less than 24 hours, looks like, before the new moon on March 5th at 10:19 a.m. Mercury will be retrograde until March 28th. Mercury is also debilitated right now in the sidereal system. Mercury's dreamy, deep, intuitive, kind of fuzzy, and a little daydreamy, yeah, a little confused, dazed and confused in Pisces. And when he stations just right before this new moon, there is a deep sort of sense of maybe questioning or second thoughts, perhaps, on our path. So this is a great time for inner reflection. After this new moon, just a huge shift is happening with the nodes. Rahu and Ketu, about every 18 months, change signs. Now they're the north and south node of the moon. They're invisible. They're actually like shadows, places where the eclipses happen. Okay, so we can't see them. But they are very important in Vedic astrology for charting karma and the flow of evolution. For all of us here together on this planet, and on an individual level, you can really see where our life is calling or pointing us to, or maybe perhaps creating change and volatility and stress. Rahu, who has to do with ambition and desire, is coming into the sign of Gemini from Cancer, where he's been in the last year and a half. Now, Gemini, actually, for Rahu, is a pretty good place because Gemini is very versatile and flexible. And there's a lot of power, or freedom, I should say, for Rahu to grow and do what he wants. I think the next year and a half is going to have some big breakthroughs for the world and how we do business, even more than we have already. So how we also maybe travel, communicate. There's a lot of power of change and expansion in Gemini. But on the other side, Ketu is going to be entering Sagittarius. So Ketu in Sagittarius has an effect of awakening, in a way, to maybe hard lessons around politics, leadership, education, beliefs, how we organize ourselves to create a better world for each other. So there is a lot of potential this year for a big awakening, a big shift, kind of a reality check, because Ketu is going to be doing something very special this year. He is going to be joining up with Saturn, that karmic taskmaster, the one that makes sure we do our work on this plane. Ketu is going to be joining Saturn, and Saturn is going to go retrograde and travel very close, within a 1 or 2 degree orb of Ketu for 6 months. This is something that's quite exceptional. Ketu and Saturn will also be close by Pluto this year as well. So this is a very powerful and transformative year that has a lot of potential to really get into the problems of how we are working on this planet, how we use our resources, how we share our resources, how we communicate. International diplomacy and ethics, I think, will be really up on for scrutiny, actually, and how we can improve is going to become very important. It is a time that could bring some crisis as well in these themes, under these themes. So also on an individual level, it has a very powerful effect of awakening. You see, Ketu is the key. He holds the key to liberation. And with Saturn, there's a lot of power to really get into what needs to be done, to make the changes we need to move forward, to evolve. So I'm going to do a little horoscope on Rahu and Ketu in the next few days, probably. In India, it's hard to get anything done. But I will have that up in the next few days or a week or so. And if you want to know really, though, how it's affecting you on a personal level, you really should get a reading, a personal reading, because there are a lot of details that I just simply can't cover in a horoscope or in a general article. You can book a reading with me. There's a link below in the YouTube description window. And now let's just see what the cards have to say about this very powerful changing point, kind of a portal point. New moon coming up, Shivaratri. Okay. Wow. Well, the first card that comes up, the Princess of Swords. Very mercurial energy here. Color of Mercury's green. I'm wearing, actually I got this at the Mercury temple. I just went on a Navagraha Yatra and we visited all 9 of the major temples in the area where we were in Tamil Nadu for the planets. So this comes from the Mercury temple. Green color. Wearing it to try to help me communicate with you, because it's true. Mercury and Pisces this is not an easy time for Mercury. And Mercury, when it stations so close to the new moon and right at this time when the nodes are changing, especially Rahu in Mercury's sign, there's a great deal of exaggerated energy actually with Mercury. Now this card has to do with having to kind of push through a little bit the confusion. So a lot of, Mercury is the psychopomp. That's one of his names, meaning that he can dive down into the underworld. This is Greek mythology. Into Hades, get messages or give messages, and then come back up as if reborn. He's always deep diving. And when he goes into his retrogrades, it is a lot like a deep dive. He's disappearing. He's going to combust the sun later. So be ready for, another green leaf just fell on me. Maybe a good sign. Be ready for anything, for surprises, for blocks in the path, for confusion, for changing of plans perhaps as well, or maybe not knowing for sure what you want. A lot of, in general, like detours and revision that happens in these times, especially the stationing time is kind of heavy and confusing often. And that's going to be leading up to the new moon, the day before and of. And this card, wow, fire, the Ace of Wands. And like I said, Porvoo Bhadrapada is a very fiery star. Probably, even though it's in the watery Pisces, it's scorching hot. Isn't that interesting? Porvoo Bhadrapada has this sort of deep sense of injustice. And when it has so much compassion, when it sees the troubles and suffering of the world, it burns like tapas. So there's a real capacity in Porvoo Bhadrapada for this tapas, for this burning, and for real compassion that comes through from real awareness. Fire, Agni. And then the final card, the Tower. Wow. You know, this change of the nodes, Rahu, the head of the snake, and Ketu, the tail. It is true that we're headed towards the next 6 months. There's kind of a test, a little bit, I think. There can feel like there's some big shifts. And it's important to be able to dance like Shiva, right? This is Mahashivaratri. Destruction is just part of the cycle of life. And it's beautiful too. It's liberating. It's freeing. So if there's something in your life that you're really ready to cut out, if it's just time to go a new way, it may take some time, maybe until even after the combustion in a couple of weeks, or even after Mercury goes direct March 28th, to settle into where it is you're going. But this is a time to let go of where you are now. Transformation. Okay, let's check it out. Don't struggle against the new. Allow for change, because change happens. Destruction is only clearing away to make new creation. Be present with what is now. And don't force a conclusion. And don't be afraid to look at what you've lost in the past so you can understand what you want to gain. And allow for the true fire, the true light of awareness to be fully in the moment. Try taking down the old structures in some part of your life where you feel stuck, and allow for a new dance, a new dream to be reborn. There's some strong cards. Take care out there. Some kind of volatility, definitely, especially for people who are running Mercury periods right now. If you're in a Mercury dasha, or have a strong Mercury influence on your chart. And also Rahu and Ketu, of course, too. So take care and let me know how you're feeling. Comment below in the video. And if you'd like to get a reading with me here in India, I'm offering them. Not too many. There's a few slots open. Kind of odd hours because the time zone's different. But evening, if you're available in the evening in the United States, I am able to give you a reading. So reach out. And if you would like to get on my newsletter, subscribe. It's free. It's still doing this thing after all these years. Free newsletter for you. It's awesome resource to learn about Vedic astrology, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And I will see you soon on the next full moon. It's going to be holy, powerful full moon next month. Take care. Namaste.